So, hey guys, I know I look a little rough. I don't know what's going on, really. Besides being old, I started having kind of like an issue with my leg. It felt like I had pulled a muscle because it was in my inner thigh. I'm like, well, what did I do? Now I know I went on my trip and I was busy the whole time coming back. I washed clothes. I did some grocery shopping, carrying stuff in the house. That was probably like Monday or something that I had went out with my sister and I did a few errands. After that, my leg just started felt like I had pulled a muscle. So I'm thinking, okay, you're old. You just got done on a trip pulling luggage to a airport, and now you're doing all this other heavy lifting. My leg is acting up. It's just acting up. I'm putting stuff on my leg. I'm babying. I got those patches, the hot and cold patches that you could put on. And it was kind of weird because my leg started off in, like I said, right the inner thigh. I would get a pain that would shoot up there. So I'm thinking it's a, pulled muscle. That's what I'm thinking. I said, you overdid it and now you're paying for it. But it was getting worse and worse to the point I was like, I don't know where I'm injured at. I'm thinking, could it be my back? Could it be my hip? Or is it a sprained muscle? Oh my goodness. It was every day it seemed like it was getting worse. Well, it was getting worse for me to stand on it, put any kind of weight on it. That pain would just shoot up my leg. So, my son's like, well, you probably need to make an appointment. But the military's kind of, sometimes it takes a while to get in. Sometimes you can get an appointment right away. We have a system with the military where we could go and email our doctor, say we need our prescriptions filled, or, send him a message. Sunday, I sent him a message and I told him pretty much what was going on with my leg. And by that point, it felt like when my hip was going out on my left side. So now I'm like nervous about it because, I'm going on my cruise in November with a lot of walking. It takes 6 months to heal from a hip surgery. I got five months to my cruise. I can't drive for 6 months afterwards. So I'm thinking if I go now, if it's my hip, that I should be okay. I get this message from the office, and this nurse, she says, well, call back at this number so we can do triage over the phone. Call me later. At first, there's no identification on the phone. I don't answer a lot of those. But because I was kind of expecting a phone call back, I answered and it was her. So she's like, asked me all what was going on. And I told her, because last week I was doing twists and, doing squats and stuff. I can't do that today. I was thinking maybe I need to like stretch this. Maybe I made it worse. I don't know. After she asked me a few questions, I told her it felt similar to my hip when I had to get that one replaced. And I said, going on a cruise, I kind of make a joke about it, but I'm serious, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's better if it is my hip that it happens now. And then I have 5 months to recover before I go on my cruise. If I had never went home, dragging luggage and sitting on a plane and confined for, over 3 hours, maybe it wouldn't have came to this. But I'm thinking, if it doesn't happen now and it happens in August, I'm screwed. There's no way I could go on the trip because I won't be able to walk. Well, I could go with a walker. I probably couldn't really go sightseeing and stuff with my little walker. I don't know. So she had told me, well, I got appointments today, which Bill goes to work, my son's working. They were like later in the afternoon, 12:40. I know they usually don't do that. They don't put you right in the hospital if, unless it's dire straits. Something told me I need to have somebody drive me because I don't want to have the car stuck out there. We only have the one vehicle. And if I drive myself, I have to stay there for whatever reason. I can't get the car back to them. They'd have to try to rent a car and come out and get get the car, whatever. It sucks when you only have one vehicle, but that's life. That's how we're rolling right now, and you got to adjust to it. She had one at 9:40 in the morning. There's still the issue. Bill works nights, so he sleeps till about 10:30. So I called my son because he's usually could be flexible where he could kind of get off work like that. So I told him, look, I'm going to wait till Bill gets up. I'll see if Bill wants to get up early in the morning to take me because they have one at 9:40. That means we have to leave the house at least by 9 o'clock. Don't know what's going to happen on the freeway. So my son said, well, call me back. So Bill gets up. I explained the situation to him. And I said, do you feel like you could get up and take me? He said, yeah, I could take you. I'll just go to bed earlier when I get home tonight. I said, okay. This leg, if anybody out there has had any kind of issues with pain, they know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I couldn't even walk. When I got up this morning, I said, we had looked for my cane. And I said, well, maybe there's something in the craft room for me to use as a cane. I've got lots of sticks or stuff like that. So I had this, I don't know what you call it, banister pole I had bought. I was going to do a project with them, and I said, well, I could use that as a cane. And as I was walking out of the craft room, there was Martha standing in the corner right there as I walked out the door, and I seen the little feet sticking out. I said, is that my cane? Because, it had slid down, so only the little feet was sticking out. I said, there's Martha. Now, it's been a while since I used a cane. It has kind of helped me to get around. And what's so bad is that I had stuff I was going to do. I was going to transplant my lavender out front. Bill said, well, I'll help you transplant it. I said, okay, thanks. Because we're trying to work on the yard a little bit. I had started seeds yesterday. I had went outside and started seeds. That's what I'm saying. From like one day, it just got so worse that I couldn't even think about that stuff. But I got seeds on the counter that had to be soaked in water. I had a pot roast out because I was going to cook this pot roast, and I said I'll cook it in a slow cooker or on top of the stove real slow for a couple of hours, and we can have that for a couple meals. I'm like, okay. So I couldn't do none of that. I had to have Bill do it. He cut up potatoes, he threw it in the meat. So all of that's cooked and done. All I got to do is kind of heat it up for dinner. Bill left. I hobbled in there to get me some water, and I had to go to the bathroom. I took out some frozen corn, threw some butter on it, and I like dill in my corn, so I threw that in there. I got it in a little pot waiting to heat up. Probably about 5 o'clock, I'll go in there and kind of maybe like 10 till 5. I'll throw my meat and potatoes in the oven. It's in a skillet for the oven, so I'll throw it in there on warm and let it heat up. And I could stand there and do the corn. I made me breakfast this morning, but I had to carry in one thing because I got the cane in the other, and then I had to go get my coffee. So I noticed that for the last 3 or 4 days, I haven't been sleeping that much. When I do my watch to see how much sleep, it's been like 6 hours. I'm thinking I'm falling asleep a lot sooner than it says, but I guess I'm not. Thinking I'm asleep, but I'm not. I'm really tired from a lack of sleep and the pain. Pain always wears you out. I don't care how healthy you are or how young you are. When you get that severe pain, it really does your body a job, a workout. So I've been dealing with that, and nothing I take Tylenol, but I don't want to be taking a bunch of that stuff. But I take Tylenol because I had a headache and from the pain. It's just, you get stiff because I'm doing Martha here. So, I'm putting my weight on there, and then my arm is hurting. It's like, I don't like to be disabled like this. It's just, I feel like I have stuff to do, but I know I need to rest this leg. Now, yesterday evening, before I went to bed, my right ankle was swollen. And I was like, why is my right leg swelling up? And I thought, well, maybe because when I'm walking, before I found the cane, I was leaning on that right leg that I kept leaning on my left leg because I kept getting pain in my right leg. Maybe it was just too much for my leg. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and that's why I'm so glad that they're going to see me tomorrow. Find out what's going on. I mean, when I looked up the symptoms, it could be anything from a pinched nerve, it could be your hip, it could be your back. So I know for a fact that before I got my surgery on my left hip, they had tested everything. I had arthritis in my left knee. I had arthritis in this hip, and I got arthritis in my lower back. I also ended up with arthritis up here because it just ate away the bone, and I had to have the whole socket here replaced. So this is all metal in here. I imagine it could be arthritis. I'm gearing more towards my back. It may be my hip again. I know a lot of people that get one hip done, they usually end up getting the second hip. Or they have one knee done, they get the other knee done. And I know that's where it stands. I don't know. I'll find out more tomorrow when I go to the doctor and they test me and everything. I may have to get a, CAT scan or something over there. They have everything in the hospital. So I might be over there for a few hours getting that done. I know they have little wheelchairs there. I may tell Bill, you may need to get one of those. I mean, he's going to have to park pretty close. Well, he's going to have to drop me off, and by the time I struggle to get in there, he'll probably find a parking space and meet me. But once I walk in the hospital, the one particular door, my doctor's right there. It's the first office, so it's not like, but to go to x-ray, I got to go down the hall, down another hall, and then make a left, and then it's the first thing there. But it's still a walk, so hopefully they'll get me a little cart so Bill can push me down there, because it'll take me forever to walk it. I know it takes me forever to walk to the bathroom because I have to keep stopping for that pain. But anywho, I just wanted to kind of let you know what was going on, and we'll see what happens. Hey guys, so today it was hat day. It was raining out today. I went out to the doctor. It's not my hip. That's good news. It's just this side of my leg. So anyhow, it's, I'm old. I probably overused it or something. And so it's pretty painful. She did have me go take an x-ray to make sure there was nothing else wrong. Then after that, she gave me a anti-inflammatory shot, because that's probably why it hurt so much, was the inflammation. So I'm just glad. Hopefully the x-ray will be okay. And it's not my hip, because, they all seen my little note that I told the doctor, I'm going on a cruise. Turned out okay. Hopefully, the x-ray shows that it's just inflamed and nothing else. So that's the good news, but we did get quite a bit of rain today, so that's good. My plants will love it. Dropped down to 90, and it feels so cool. That's crazy. But I think today it's going to get to 103. And I wore a little dress today, not realizing it's for women. I think it's for their breast cancer, awareness. So to get a mammogram. Today you're supposed to wear pink. I picked this out last night. I didn't even realize it was, but here I am. Okay, guys, I think that's about it. I do have to go to therapy for this. They'll help get it all worked out, because it's painful. At least it's not anything but therapy, and then that therapy I can continue at home once they tell me what I need to do for my legs. I have some leg exercises, and I've been slack in doing them, so gotta get on it, girl. Getting too old for this shit. Gotta keep that stuff moving. All right, guys. Talk to you later, alligator. Bye.